Young Algernon, the doctor's son, was playing with a loaded gun. He pointed it towards his sister, aimed very carefully, but missed her. His father, who was standing near, the loud explosion chanced to hear, and reprimanded Algernon for playing with a loaded gun. John Henderson, an unbeliever, had lately lost his joie de vivre from reading far too many books. He went about with gloomy looks. Despair inhabited his breast, and made the man a perfect pest. Not so his sister, Mary Lunn. She had a whacking lot of fun. Though unbelieving as a beast, she didn't worry in the least, but drank as hard as she was able, and sang and danced upon the table. And when she met her brother Jack, she used to smack him on the back so smartly as to make him jump and cry, "What-ho, you've got the hump!" a phrase which more than any other was gall and wormwood to her brother. For having an agnostic mind, he was exceedingly refined. The Christians, a declining band, would point with monitory hand to Henderson, his desperation, to Mary Lunn, her dissipation, and often mutter, "Mark my words, something will happen to those birds." Which came to pass, for Mary Lunn died suddenly at 91, of psittacosis, not before becoming an appalling bore, while Henderson, I'm glad to state, though naturally celibate, married an intellectual wife who made him lead the higher life, and wouldn't give him any wine, whereby he fell in a decline, and at the time of writing this is suffering from paralysis, the which we hear with no surprise will shortly end in his demise. The moral is, it is indeed, you mustn't monkey with the creed. John Vavasour de Quintin Jones was very fond of throwing stones, at horses, people, passing trains, but specially at window panes. Like many of the upper class, he liked the sound of broken glass. It bucked him up and made him gay. It was his favourite form of play. But the amusement cost him dear, my children, as you now shall hear. John Vavasour de Quintin had an uncle who adored the lad, and often chuckled, "Wait until you see what's left you in my will." Nor were the words without import, because this uncle did a sort of something in the city which had made him fabulously rich, although his brother, John's papa, was poor as many fathers are. He had a lot of stocks and shares and half a street in Buenos Aires, but this pronunciation varies. Some people call it Buenos Aires. A bank in Rio, and a line of steamers to the Argentine, and options more than I can tell, and bits of Canada as well. He even had a mortgage on the house inhabited by John. His will, the cause of all the fuss, was carefully indited thus: "This is the last and solemn will of Uncle William, known as Bill. I do bequeath, devise, and give, by execution mandative, the whole amount of what I've got. It comes to a tremendous lot. In season to devolve upon my well-beloved nephew John, and here the witnesses will sign their names upon the dotted line." Such was the legal instrument expressing Uncle Bill's intent. As time went on, declining health transmogrified this man of wealth, and it was excellently clear that Uncle Bill's demise was near. At last his sole idea of fun was sitting snoozling in the sun. So once when he would take the air, they wheeled him in his patent chair. By they, I mean his nurse, who came from Dorchester upon the Tame. Miss Charming was the nurse's name. To where, beside a little wood, a long-abandoned greenhouse stood, and there he sank into a doze of senile and inept repose. But not for long his drowsy ease. A stone came whizzing through the trees, and caught him smartly in the eye. He woke with an appalling cry, and shrieked in agonizing tones, "Oh, Lord, whoever's throwing stones!" Miss Charming, who was standing near, said, "That was Master John, I fear." "Go get my ink-pot and my quill, my blotter and my famous will." Miss Charming flew as though on wings to fetch these necessary things, and Uncle William ran his pen through well-beloved John, and then proceeded in the place of same to substitute Miss Charming's name, who now resides in Portman Square, and is accepted everywhere. There was a boy whose name was Jim. His friends were very good to him. They gave him tea and cakes and jam and slices of delicious ham, and chocolate with pink inside, and
Sample complete. Ready to continue?